they just see you being like, "Oh, bye, loser."
They're like, damn, these bitches are really mean to him off camera too. Poor Miguel. Man, we're gonna get social services called on us or something for Miggy's abuse. Oh my gosh. It doesn't show anybody's watching yet. I guess that means we gotta share some shit. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Did it pop up on you yet?
They probably don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
I have forgot this morning, honestly. I was like, oh yeah, that's why I had to get up so early. Hopefully my interwebs will not.
Oh yeah, mine too. We'll see.
Fingers crossed. I'm like, this shit ain't due for a minute. Why are you guys fucking with me? Biatches.
I don't see it live on Facebook. Is it just on YouTube right now?
No, it's on Facebook. I always have to end up going to the actual page itself and taking it from the feed. That's why all the time. That's why I ask, like, did it pop up on your guys' end? Because it half the time, more than half the time, it never pops up on my end. So I physically have to. That's why it takes me so long. Like, I gotta find this shit. Damn. I blame Miguel. I will just always blame Miguel, and I'm okay with that. That's okay. Well, yesterday we tried talking about that. Hey, Richard. Hey, Michael. Thanks for joining us, guys. Okay. Yesterday we tried that stupid documentary yesterday. Had me all fired up. I didn't even get to vet, and then I didn't even get to tell y'all about Miguel.
So you're pent up today.
I was. I continued that.
Don't take it out on
me. No. She's like, please spare me. No, like I even continued that shit into today because I was interested. Like, I'd never heard this story before. And when you had told me about it the first time, I was like, what? That's fucking nuts. And then I forgot and you reminded me. I was like, oh yeah, that's what we're supposed to talk about. And then I watched it and I was like, at first I was like, I don't know why she gets so mad about this. What do you mean get mad at the parents? And then I kept watching. I was like, oh, fuck this shit. Kept like pausing it. No, unpause it and go back. Rewind it. Wait, what this bitch just say?
Okay, so for those that are joining us, yesterday we attempted to talk about the documentary Abducted in Plain Sight. However, the interwebs was not cooperating. So we had to bail out early. But everything seems to be running smoothly today, so that's what we're going to talk about.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, if you guys have seen it, for those of you who are joining us, if you guys have seen it, please let us know what you thought about it.
Yeah,
Richard said he saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very long. It seems a little slow yet interesting at first, but then it really picks up and it's going to hold on to you and you're going to just not be happy with anything when you're done.
Yeah.
I actually started watching some Dr. Phil episodes because they were on Dr. Phil shortly after it released on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a 2017 documentary. So actually, no, they went on Dr. Phil like right about the same time it came out. I don't know if it came out before or after the Dr. Phil, but if it came out before the Dr. Phil and people saw it, people are going to be mad and like, what the fuck? Because I was watching it. We'll get into it later, but I'm just going to throw that out there. I was a little suspicious after watching some independent interviews away from the documentary.
Okay. All right.
Some interesting stuff I found.
All right. So what do you want to start with then? Should we start from the beginning then?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess just to start out with it and just put it all in a nutshell for people.
How the hell do you say this Robert guy's last name again?
Bertram. Fuck, what was his name?
Robert Berchtold? Berchtold, right?
Yeah.
Shit. Hold on.
B. We'll call him B like all the girls do.
That's so gross.
That was gross. That was very gross.
Okay. It's Berchthold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Berchthold.
Yes.
So the Broberg family lived in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
And they lived in like a nice neighborhood where they didn't really have to lock their doors. You know, everybody was friendly with each other. Everybody helped each other out in the community.
It was also the 70s too, like the very early 70s when you didn't have to lock your doors at the time.
Yeah,
like,
before all these fucking serial killer scares started popping up in the 70s.
Yes.
So yeah, they met this guy. As the mom described it, what's her name? Marianne? She described it as like basically she was playing the piano for the church and she saw a new family in the crowd that she hadn't seen before. And they're I believe they're Mormons.
Yeah, LDS, Latter-day Saints.
Yeah. So they, they're deeply rooted in their faith. They meet this new family and their neighbors, so they eventually start having their kids hang out because Robert did have a wife and 5 children. So they would hang out. And that's basically how all this shit started.
Yeah. They said he was very charismatic, very outgoing, very suave, what everybody really was in what everybody wanted to be around, basically. Like he was just so charming, kind of almost like a Ted Bundy, I kind of almost want to say Charlie Manson, but not, maybe in the way that he manipulated some people and spoke to some people. I would kind of maybe a little compare it to that a little bit, but the
thing about child molesters is weird because everybody's like, oh my God, they're so good with kids. They're so great. They're such a good person. Like you would never think that anybody would do anything like that.
Oh yeah, just and the same with like the serial killers too. It's like they have some kind of, I don't know. It's not like they're different because I think we're all capable of being manipulative in some ways. It's just everybody takes it to a different level of manipulation, I guess, depending on your own conscience and your own morals and all this other shit. But some people just don't. They have no empathy. They have no sympathy. They're selfish, they're bored, they just they get off on doing some things like this. It's usually for a greater malicious purpose. It's crazy how people act like that. But yeah, they met him through the church, met the family through the church. They said that basically like it was perfect because everybody in the family had a best friend, somebody that they could hang out with in the opposite family, so that made the family like way tighter and closer together. So of course I can see why they allowed this man to like take the children and go to movies, because that was something I found in some of the other footage that I found, or I guess
I just listened to an interview that she did on Jan Broberg did on The View. She was talking about this exact thing right here.
Thank you. Sorry, I just had a delivery.
I'm alone.
Go away.
Zero, go give me a beer.
I was like, I'm glad I looked at what flavor this was before I started drinking it. I thought it was something else. Would have been a surprise. Shit. So yeah, in another interview I had seen, she said that because this didn't happen like right away. Like the documentary makes it seem, and that's kind of what I didn't like about the documentary. I felt they should have done it in a different order, because it did make you think that it was like they met, they knew each other for like a month or two, and then bam, he takes the daughter and all this shit happens. It's like, no, this actually went over like a 2.5 year period.
Yeah, because they met in 72 and the abduction happened in 74.
Yeah.
Well,
but the first one, because this girl, she was for those of you who haven't seen it, this child was abducted twice by the same man that everybody trusted, and to some extent I mean, now, especially nowadays, and that's, sorry, I know I'm off on a tangent today. I'm a little stoned.
Oh, it's cool. I've got my Kahlua coffee.
Nice. That's the thing, though, too, about what a lot of people aren't thinking about, too, is that what I brought earlier is that it was the 70s. It was the early 70s. You didn't have to lock your door at that time. Sexual assault on children was not a commonly known thing. They'd even said that the FBI agent wasn't even aware of what a pedophile was and had to look it up in the dictionary. That's how uncommon it was, especially in Idaho with the LDS church and that community. Like, they had no clue what that was. And this man sat there.
I'm sorry. I'll say, I got to interrupt you for a second, too, because it was the 70s. So there wasn't as much knowledge of pedophiles, I would say.
Right.
It was, I'm sure it was super common and it was easy to get away with.
Right. I guess that was a poor choice of words on my end, because nowadays you hear about it on the news all the time.
Yeah.
Or, you know, this guy had my kid and did this and that. I guess that's what I mean by common, like that it just, everybody knows about it all the time now. And not that it never happened before. It did, you know, anyway.
No, I know.
I'm sorry.
I was just throwing in my 2 cents.
Oh no, it's okay, because it probably sounded like I was being ignorant. So, being ignorant. But no, like, you know, like you said, like they didn't know about it. And this guy, on top of that, when he met these people in that first 2-year period, he'd even admitted to these parents, to the parents of this girl that he was befriending, that he had a problem in the past being sexually and romantically interested in young girls, and that he was getting treatment for it from the psychiatrist or therapist or whomever he was seeing. And this guy was giving him tapes to listen to. And basically it was this guy narrating a sexual act that would happen between a man and a child. And he's telling him to sit here and lay next to children or be in the same area of children by yourself and listen to these tapes. This is going to help you. That guy's license was fucking revoked from him. And this guy continued to do this practice, like this treatment, like, because I think he knew it was bullshit and was just like, oh no, I'm getting treatment. You can't discriminate. I'm getting treatment. But, you know, can I come lay with your children? Can I be alone with your children in this room? And these people are like, oh yeah, okay, well, yeah, go ahead. Go. If you're getting treatment, if this helps your process, please go lay with my children that you're going to molest and kidnap later on. This is, no, it's part of your treatment. It's part of your treatment. See, just because people didn't know, and that's things too that makes me like, as a fucking parent, why would you not have alarms going off in your head? Like, you're fucking weird. Like, I don't want to lay with a little kid. Why would you want to lay with a little kid? You're fucking weird.
Well, maybe they were thinking, well, he has kids, you know,
right.
Maybe he can't get this treatment with his own children because it's, I don't know, maybe that's weird. But also I'm wondering why this psychiatrist wasn't looked into further. Like, his license was revoked, but was he arrested? Was he also a pedophile trying to encourage other pedophiles to continue their crimes? Like, that's something I was thinking about, but I don't even know what happened to this guy.
Yeah, exactly. Because that what he was doing had, more than likely caused more damage out in the world than it actually did good. So that is an interesting question. What happened to that doctor? Was he just as malicious as these people he was treating for this shit? Or what? Because sometimes some of these crazy people that get arrested and caught, they're in positions of, they're not like Bob that works in accounting. You know what I'm saying? Like they're either connected to politicians, or they're, trying to be a politician, or they're trying to be something of a, like a grandiose title or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was reading that part of the reason why because I was trying to understand why the parents did what they did. Some of it I could understand, and then some of it I just couldn't understand. Like, why would you do something like that? Like, what would make you say, okay, this is okay? I guess the LDS religion, and it's not to talk crap about the LDS religion or anything like that. It's they practice a lot of forgiveness, no matter what it is that you're doing. If you ask for forgiveness, I mean, a lot of religions do that also, but I guess it's very much focused on an LDS religion. Forgiveness. And I guess because when he told them, what was going on, I need this treatment for this and that, they were just like, oh, well, we forgive you. You came honest about it and you're getting help. So how can we judge you? Kind of deal. And that kind of made more sense.
Yeah, I was going to say that kind of makes more sense than them just being, dumb about it. I mean, they did have that religious background that kind of made them, they felt sorry for him, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then there was another part in that documentary that helped me understand why the community of that church acted the way they did when he came back. Because the first time he abducted her when she was 12 years old, he had her in Mexico. He actually got, and in Mexico, I don't know if it's the same or not. I don't live there, so I don't know. I don't want to sound ignorant about it either. I'm just letting everybody know what I heard on this documentary.
Right.
That at the time in the 70s, that at 12 years old, you could be married. You could legally be married at 12 years old. Whether it's with or without parents' consent, I don't know. I just know that at 12 years old, she was able to marry this almost 40-year-old man. Oh, excuse me. This almost 40-year-old man, and it was legal. They were there for 52 days, I think. Was that the first time or no?
The first time.
Anyway.
So.
Yeah, I think it was like 50-something days he had her the first time.
Fun. Okay, no. That was after.
He had her twice, and I know it was for a long... at the second time, he had her for like over 100 days, didn't he?
It was like, wasn't it like 8 months? She was gone. It was the second time was 8 months. The first time was like 2 months.
I know she was gone for several months the second time, but
I don't know. Maybe I should have wrote this down.
No, it's okay because I was trying. Well, because we were talking about it yesterday, so it was pretty fresh yesterday.
Yeah,
that's why it was easier for me. I was like, I don't have to do notes.
I wrote bullet points after we logged out yesterday, just so that I remember.
Nice. But in that state, or in that country, he was able to marry her at 12 years old. His brother, which his brother kind of irritated me a little bit. I didn't look into on the brother. The brother pretty much, he had contact with his brother, who his brother ended up playing the middleman between him and the parents to help get this girl back to the parents, which I applaud him on that. But his attitude for everything else really made me want to kick him in the teeth with a steel-toe boot.
Oh my
Not
God.
even joking. He sat there, he was like, oh yeah, I know my brother's he's a sexual pervert.
He's like,
he's
a pedophile. He raped his sister when she was 6 and he was 12.
Yeah, and he goes, it's not like it was his half sister or anything, that was our sister. And then he goes on about how when he intervenes in between, the mom and the FBI and trying to help locate this girl from his brother, he even said, oh, I knew he was going to be mad and it was going to ruin our relationship. Why would you want to have a relationship with someone like that? But again, it was the 70s at the time. People didn't understand that shit. But if you knew about it at a small age and you're like, yeah, I knew my brother was a fucking pervert and this and that, and he did this to my little sister, why would you be cool with that as just a normal person without that already being a no-no in society? Like every day publicly, that's a no-no. You should just know in your head that's fucking wrong.
Yeah.
But when the brother did intervene, I was like, good for you. You did do something right, I suppose. Besides all these other fucking people around this poor girl.
Oh I think everyone failed her.
Yeah, the system failed her. Her family failed her. And in a way, I think that guy was kind of failed too. I watched a little bit of his past. From what he says, and I really don't believe.
He had two different stories on what happened to him when he was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, one was that he was abused severely by his stepfather or whomever. His mother went off because she was sick. Oh, this is a different one? Oh, okay.
There was he said throughout the documentary, he mentioned 3 people that abused him. His stepfather, a nanny,
his aunt,
and his aunt.
Oh, see, no, I looked into other stuff on him yesterday and some of this morning. He had actually given an interview, and somehow he provided photos for these people so they'd have visuals of what his life looked like when he was young. But supposedly, he was one of the older children in his family. I forget how many children there were. I want to say maybe there was 4, maybe. But he did have a brother. Yeah. And supposedly they lived like on some property, and it was either his stepdad or his father continuously abused him, not sexually, but just like physically and verbally, emotionally, left him to go sleep outside in like barns and basements and sheds and shit. And then he was left to take care of his younger sister, whom he then ended up sexually assaulting later on, who knows how many times. But he did claim that when he was, I guess, kind of exiled from the house, like, you can't live in here with us, that there were helpers from the property, like yard hands and all that, that were sexually abusing him on a regular basis. And then he felt that in order for him to get away from that, that the more he took care of this little girl, the more he was allowed in the house. And so he was just like, I always felt like I need to take care of a little girl after that. That's why I'm so into these little girls. Gross. Like, yeah, it's like, no, something happened to you. You were either born messed up, unfortunately, or maybe you were assaulted by all these people. And that is a tragic and unfortunate thing. And that should have never happened to you. But something else happened. Like, he was also failed in some way, shape, or form. I'm not saying I feel bad for this guy, because fuck that guy. Once you get to an age, you know better. To an extent, you know better. I can't say that. I don't want people yelling at me later. But but no, this guy had fucking issues. I mean, oh my God, when she was gone the second time, and he had all those like poster-sized photos of her in his little trailer.
Before we get into that, let's get to some comments real quick.
Yes.
Okay, so Richard says he saw it yesterday and it makes him hate people more. But he also, oh shit, where'd it go? It was right. Oh yeah, Robert Bitchface is what he called him.
I saw that
one. Michael says, how the hell did an FBI agent not know the definition of a pedophile through his FBI Academy training? I don't know.
Early 70s, they didn't know. It wasn't something that happened all the time. They didn't really have a lot of child protection laws back then, because there wasn't enough of an issue coming forward to make a deal out of it at the time. So unfortunately, it kind of sucks, especially in a small town in Idaho. I mean, really, it's fucking Idaho.
Yeah.
You guys are behind California and New York like shit. I'm sorry. That's why it took me so long to get Napoleon Dynamite. Jesus Christ. What year is this?
All right. The aliens' names, you know what? I forgot, but we can look it up.
Volkswagen and Vespa, really?
Some
Zada and Zeta,
Zeta or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we'll shit. Yeah, and that was the thing too. He'd taken those children in that that first 2.5 year grooming process. He was taking those kids to sci-fi flicks to like get it more in there. Like this guy was really fucking methodical in every little fucking thing he did.
For years, he would bring in, because in the 70s there was a big boom of UFO sightings, because after Roswell in the 60s and everything, you know, it started booming. It was early 70s too, so it had just happened a couple years before that. So there were all these new alien movies coming out and all these newspaper clippings and shit of like UFOs. So he would just talk about it to the whole family and be like, oh, look at all this stuff. So later on, he could use that as, oh, aliens are real, and convince this little girl. We'll get to that part, but yeah. So he was, you know, manipulating the whole family too. Like, oh, look at all this UFO stuff.
And she even admitted, she goes, you know, when I was 12, she goes, I wasn't what she said, a savvy 12-year-old. She goes, I was a young 12-year-old. She was like, I was not up to par with my age, or I wasn't, you know, more mature for my age than I was. She goes, I was really naive at 12.
Religious families and
Yeah, unfortunately. So, and I think the whole family was to an extent. I really think that their religion kind of pressed them to act certain ways, like the whole forgiveness thing. Like, oh, we got to forgive them. We got to be nice. All this other shit. So, yeah.
Okay, so he eventually, is playing these tapes. He's manipulating the family. During this time, he is also trying to sexually manipulate both parents. Let's talk about this.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Let's talk about that. Okay. Oh my God.
So Robert worked at, he owned a furniture store, and Jan was a Marianne was a stay-at-home mom, Jan's mom. So he would call her and be like, oh, I forgot my lunch today. Will you come bring me a sandwich? Will you come bring me something? He was trying to,
what's wrong with your wife?
Yeah, right? Yeah. He was trying to get closer to the family, so he would use the mom. Oh, hey, I need I need a sandwich, and so she would go have lunch with him. It happened a couple times a week, and then they eventually started, she says they were making out, and he touched my breast. She put it.
Yeah, I got the vapors to touch my bosoms.
And she had been married for about 12 years to her husband, so this was something exciting for her. It was new and different. And so she basically started almost hooking up with this guy.
Oh, well, I have a question. I guess maybe I should have went back and looked at it, but she said she had an 11-month affair with him. But was she having sex with him? Yes, after the second kidnapping.
The first time, no. The second time, yes.
So she did. Okay, because when I was watching other stuff, like what I said earlier, like Dr. Phil, and this is what I made a note of, is when she was on Dr. Phil being interviewed, she said she never crossed the line with him and she never had a sexual relationship with him. That's what got me. I was like, really? Because in the documentary, I could have swore you said you had an 11-month affair with him, and that caused a lot of bullshit in your relationship.
What is their
wanted a fucking divorce from you?
Yeah, huh? What is their version of sex?
Right.
What is that?
Well, apparently what the dad did with him, I'm sure you'll get to that in a minute, was considered, they considered that infidelity. So her making out with him should have been considered infidelity also. But you're not just making out with a dude for 11 fucking months. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit what religion you are. If you're going to make out with a dude for 11 months, you're making out with his dick too. That's what I'm saying.
What I found hilarious was that the mom was like, oh, it was so exciting. It was new and exciting for me. And the dad was like, I couldn't believe that I did that. I'm like, I'm crying. Like, what the fuck, dude?
I know. He's like, I can't believe I was dumb enough to fall for it. Like,
dude.
Yeah. Doesn't your Bible teach you that's wrong? Maybe you might have to elaborate on other people who haven't seen it yet, Lauren.
Oh, yeah.
On what that situation was.
Robert had told the father, Bob and Robert. Robert had told Bob that he was having problems with his wife and that, she wasn't putting out and he needed some relief. And so he convinced Bob to reach over and relieve him.
Give him a handy. Yeah. he goes, ah, he's like, and he's all like, he says it like he's, and I believe the guy probably did tell him this. He was like, oh, he goes, come on, man, it's kid shit. It's no big deal. It's totally not gay. It's like, basically, it's totally not gay. But like, I don't know. Like, what do you mean you were dumb enough to believe that? Doesn't it say in your Bible you're not supposed to do stuff with the same sex as yourself?
He's probably gay. hasn't come out, doesn't want to come out because the church. That's why he was upset about having to, divorce his wife and all that. So
maybe he was bi-curious and then found out he didn't like it and was like, fuck. I thought that was some shit too because...
Sorry, the documentary made it seem as if it had been going on for a while.
Really? I thought it was just a one-time thing.
The way that I don't know. I didn't think it was just a one-time thing. I think he just described the first time it happened. It probably happened more than once.
Okay. I was watching an interview with the director of that documentary, and she said that had never come out prior to that interview, that he had done that stuff with Robert. Like, that was never in any books. That never came out to anybody, that he had done that prior to that. She goes, we were totally shocked. He just came out and said it. Mm-hmm. And we were just like, wait, what? And it was like, yeah, he'd never admitted that to anybody before that interview. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know. These parents, they were out to, and that's why I was mad at the parents mostly, is because not just I want to claim ignorance. I want to blame my church because we met in this setting and you guys are so unforgiving. Because they tried to blame the church at one point for why this all happened. Why this all happened in the first place was because of that church, because they met at that setting. The things that they were being taught as far as forgiveness and having to forgive people. And that made more sense in the documentary when he got out the first time. Because he didn't spend much time. He spent like 2 weeks or some shit like that in jail or whatever for kidnapping and all this other shit with this girl. They had her for over 50 days and married her in Mexico. That was a thing. Like, they kind of acted surprised and kind of shocked and irritated because they're like, oh, the community was totally fine with him when he came back. And they were all in open arms and saying, like, we're here to support you. That's because they're so pressed on forgiveness. And they're ignorant to the fact of what a pedophile is and what all this other shit is. So, yeah. So, but at the same time, I'd be like, don't act mad at these people. I mean, be a little mad at these people, but you guys are ultimately the hands that fucking carried this child to this man. Like, fuck you guys. Stop trying to blame other people for your shit.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so the second time, we'll talk about the abduction. So he takes her, he says he's going to take her horseback riding. He talks to the parents, says, hey, I'm going to take her. They're like, oh, well, no, not really, because she has piano lessons. He's like, oh, I'll just get her after the piano lesson. I wondered why he didn't want to take any of the other kids, and that wasn't a red flag, that he just wanted to take her.
I think it was because she was the right age for him. She had one younger sister, and I think she had an older sister, didn't she?
No, she's the oldest.
Oh, she's the oldest. Okay. Well, if you the little because he brainwashed her and convinced her that they were abducted by aliens, and that her mission was to procreate with this man, this chosen man, to help save this alien race on another planet. And that if she didn't look who's fucking joining us. Ignore him.
I'm just saying hi real quick. I'm just checking to make sure you guys are doing good.
Checking on the kids. I think we're fine. Thanks, okay. Dad.
All right, bye. I gotta go back to other children.
Bye. But he, shit, fucking Miguel.
So he, okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I kind of lost my train of thought because fucking Miguel jumped in.
Okay, we're talking about he wanted to take her horseback riding, and then and finally convinced he finally convinced the parents to pick her up from the piano lesson and take her. Well, it's like, but you have to be back by this time.
Yeah, because she said she was kind of hesitant on it, and they begged and pleaded, both of them, and then be back before Dad gets home. And then she woke up strapped to the bed in the back in that little box, with the alien transmission, which he had already been grooming her on alien shit for the past 2 years prior. So she is aware of, aliens and shit, War of the Worlds and, all this other crap. And in that transmission, it said that she was supposed to procreate with this man, and that if she didn't do it by the time, and she had to do it before she was 16. If she did not do it by the time she was 16 years old, they were going to take her younger sister. If you think about it, 16 years old, you already got boobies. You're already looking like a grownish woman. You are no longer interesting to a pedophile. Of course, he's going to ditch you and take your little sister because she's still the right age. So if I can't have you, I'll take your little sister then, is basically what I got out of it. It's one way or another, I'm going to get one of you guys.
What I thought too.
Yeah. And it's fucking gross. Fucking gross.
And it's interesting that his age is 12. Like his age, that demographic is 12. That's weird. I think maybe because he was 12 when he started doing it. I don't know.
It's possible. It's possible. I haven't found a whole lot on him specifically. Just random little interviews. It's mostly her. Her mom, her and her sisters and her mom, whomever. But yeah, like, oh my God. Yeah. This guy's fucking sick.
So the aliens.
Yeah. Volkswagen and Jetta or whatever it is.
Vespa.
Whatever it was, Richard said that was good. I like that. Volkswagen and Vespa. Jesus. Yeah, so she came back. Her sister, I saw in another interview aside from the documentary, her sister, and I don't think they did cover this at all, is that when she came back the first time and she was telling everybody, she's 12 years old. She's saying, I want to marry this man. I'm so in love with him, this and that, because she's brainwashed and she is groomed very heavily by this man. So she's got a lot of mixed emotions, a lot of feelings. She don't fucking know what she's doing. Her parents don't fucking know what's going on or what to tell her because they're dumb as shit too. And I lost my train of thought again. This is not a good day for me. My coffee, energy drink, weed, nothing has kicked in. My head hurts. I just want to squeeze these people until they stop breathing. Why? These people are dumb as shit. These people are trash. I'm sorry.
I know, garbage. So
poor girl.
This is just the first abduction too. So they go to Mexico. She comes back. She's acting different. She's unhappy.
Yeah.
And then
he left several times. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah. He gets out of jail. She runs away from home. She's gone for 8 months.
Well, prior to that, one of the sisters in an interview, that's where I lost myself. One of the sisters said, thank you. I'm sorry. My brain is just more sloshy than normal.
This whole fucking story is ridiculous.
It's
feeling
much. But I guess the sister had said that there was like one or two nights after she had come home from the first abduction, but before the second one, where he would just show up and in the middle of the night, she'd get up and walk out the back door, get in his car and leave. Like nothing. Like, I'm just going to, fuck you guys. They said she was way more defiant. Her attitude, like you said, her attitude had changed. She was a totally different person. And she was just getting up and doing whatever the fuck she wanted. Her parents didn't seem to fucking...
he would still come in her room and put the tapes next to her bed.
Yes, fucking creep. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about, like, my parents, my grandparents, who would be about the same age as her parents. Because my mom and her, I think, are roughly about the same age, maybe.
Okay.
No. If I was my mom, or if my mom was out doing that shit at 12 and 13 years old, her ass would get beat. She would be beat with a shoe. She'd be beat with a board. She'd be beat with something. I would have been beaten as a child for that shit. And I would gladly, to this day, I would gladly say, beat my ass at 12 years old if I'm doing that shit, because I probably deserve it. But these parents just, I don't get how you get.
is that they didn't move. They just should have moved away.
Yes, or kept calling the cops. She keeps leaving with this guy. He keeps coming to my house. Get him the fuck out of here. But at the same time,
you do that.
Yeah.
Because at the sexy times.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was the thing. The parents. That was the thing that really fucking made me want to kick this pedophile's wife in the fucking twat. Like, are you fucking serious, bitch? You got 5 kids with this chomo. You knew he was doing, because he had been taken. He tried doing this with another little girl prior to this family, and the family caught on to what he was doing and moved this little girl out of the life and was like, "You stay the fuck away from my kid. You're never going over to his house again. Fuck that guy. Fuck you. If I see you again, I'm gonna kick your ass."
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That family had the right idea. They knew what the fuck.
Yeah, exactly. On. Exactly. Like, what is wrong with you people? Like, the thing is, the wife of this chomo, when the daughter came up missing the first time, the parents wanted to call the police at first. Supposedly. Supposedly they wanted to, because she was missing. I get it. The wife comes over. No, don't, it'll be fine. He'll come home. Don't worry about it. This and that. Later on down the road, when the child comes back, the guy's getting in trouble. Wife comes over and says, "If you don't sign this and drop the charges, I'm telling everybody you gave my husband a handy. And I'm telling everybody that you were making out with him. But I'm mostly going to tell everybody that you gave him a handy. You're going to get kicked out of the church. You're going to be ostracized by the community." I can just imagine. Yeah, I can just imagine your infidelity, all this other shit. I can just imagine what this woman must have said to him. But the audacity and the nerve of her to do something like that when she has 5 children of her own. She already knew this fucker was doing this shit before. I'm sorry, any woman, I don't care if it's the 70s or not. You do that to a child, you're losing a dick in your life. I'm sorry.
It's like, because, dude, what if he was doing it to their kids? I mean, exactly. He wasn't, as far as we know.
As far as we know. As far as we know. These children may have never said anything. They could have been brainwashed too, so bad that they could have just blocked it all out, made that like that was nothing in their life. And one day they may get something that triggers all that again, and it comes back and they're like, "Oh, fuck." And then they're going to go back to mom and dad and say, "You guys are pieces of shit for letting this happen, for doing this to us." Like, I don't know. Hopefully it didn't. But yeah. I don't doubt that it didn't happen. Like, it had to have. I don't know. I don't know. It's very frustrating. It's very sad. It's very disgusting.
So when, time goes by, he's out, but she's writing letters to him. He's writing love letters to a 13-year-old girl.
And she's writing them back after a while. She is so into it, and she just does it right back.
Yeah, so they're exchanging letters, and then he moves or something, right? He moves, and then she ends up going to work at this place because another thing, he was saying, "Oh, I want Jan to come work at my was it a theme
park? Yeah, it was like a water theme park kind of thing."
Yeah. "Oh, I want her to come work here for the summer." And her mom's like, "Absolutely fucking not." And then Jan starts acting crazy. She's like, "I'm going to leave anyway if you don't let me." And then he's calling saying, "Oh, she's going to leave anyway if you don't let her. Like, you better just come bring her to me," pretty much. So her mom puts her on a fucking plane and sends her to him.
Yeah. That these parents just let this man have so much control over them and their lives. It's infuriating and it's disgusting. It really is. And they did a lot to save their own asses, especially in the beginning. Like I said, when the wife came up and was like, "Sign these papers or I'm going to tell everybody about this and that," and blah, blah, blah. They fucking signed those papers.
Yeah, they cared about themselves.
Yeah,
they cared about themselves, not their child.
Yeah. And that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. And now that it's come out, it's been so long, it really to them, it doesn't even really matter because the time's passed so long. It's like, yeah, whatever. We could say it now, whatever. Now they just have to deal with, oh, you did all this shit like 30, 40 years ago. And then the past is the past. We're trying to help people now. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Jesus. And apparently, after this documentary came out, 6 other victims came forward.
Mm-hmm.
And he was actually convicted for one of those because in 1986, he was arrested and spent, I think, a year in prison for raping a young girl. So this fucker continued this shit afterwards. Oh, when you were talking about the second abduction time, the reason he moved was because his wife was forcing him. I don't know, they don't say why. I can't find why or where she went, but she was like, fuck this. Here's the divorce papers. I'm taking the kids. Goodbye. And he up and moved to Utah. And when she moved, how do you get to call it an abduction when her mother put her on a fucking plane and sent her over there for the summer? That's what I don't get. Like, how are you going to call that an abduction? You willingly sent her there.
Yeah.
And she was gone for so long.
I'm muddy on this timeline too, because there was the point for 8 months when she was gone because she was in a Catholic school that he put her in under a fake name, saying he was a CIA agent and that people are going to come looking for her. And, anybody that comes looking for her, they're bad people because I'm a CIA agent and they're after me. Like, some people are after me. So they convinced these nuns. Like, it's crazy. Well, now, I'm sure they require like a birth certificate to enter a school, like all that shit. Then I don't know what the paperwork was like for signing a kid into school. So
that was the 70s. Who knows? They did a lot of willy-nilly shit back then. Now we have to wear helmets for everything. Fuck. But when that had happened, when he signed her into the school, I think she was there for like 3 or 4 months. He said, this is my daughter. I'm a CIA agent. We just came from Lebanon. And it was around the time when I guess the Lebanon war was happening, or there was a whole bunch of shit going on in Lebanon. My wife was killed. They're after me. If they find her, they're going to get me. So protect her. He'd leave her there the whole week, come and pick her up on the weekends, go fuck her all weekend long, and come and drop her off. The reason why he's doing that is because he was playing the system, I guess, if you will. He was living in Utah, and he would come out to California to the school on the weekends to do his thing and have his little dolly, as he called her, out there, and then stay in Utah. So if anybody was to check on him, I'm living in Utah. How can I be in California when I'm here in Utah all week long? So he was playing everybody to manipulate this and make this work until she's 16 and then dump her and move on to another girl, basically. Because he had no intentions on keeping her. What if he, and that was the thing too, when the first time he had her and married her when she was 12 in Mexico, he was telling his brother to tell the parents to allow him to marry her if they come back to the States, because he didn't want to be in trouble for having her. He knew he was going to be in trouble. He knew what he was doing was wrong. He wanted it to be okay by the parents so he'd have a safety net when he comes back to the U.S. And they said, no, why would we allow you to marry our daughter? You're fucking weird. Stop. But he wanted that so he wouldn't get in trouble and to be able to keep what he was doing. Okay, so what happens when she's 12? Or, I mean, not 12. What happens when she's 16? Are you going to divorce her? Are you going to groom her so bad that she's going to start helping you collect these children to continue your little sick game? Or is he going to murder you? What is he going to do to you when you're 16? Like, we do this every week. So, I want to say we can think about like other shit that could have been possibilities for this girl had other things played out differently for her. Like, what would have happened if her parents would have said yes?
Oh my God.
I mean, because that shit happens all the time. Like what girl was it here I want to say it was here in California, a little blonde girl, Smart. Elizabeth Smart. I want to say it was a
documentary the other day.
wasn't that like a guy and a lady that he had kind of had in on it too, or was that another girl with blonde hair from California?
No, you're right.
Okay, because I know there's a couple of them. They sit there and they get up. They'll find a fucking female, and they will groom a grown female or a close to grown female to help them procure girls, because women are trusting, women are innocent, women aren't violent, women aren't sexually perverse creatures. It's easy to do things like this guy thought of a lot of things, and I just wonder how far he would have taken it if he would have been allowed to continue with this girl. Like, how far would it have fucking gone?
Right.
Oh my god. Oh, I just want to. Yeah. Richard sent away in plain sight. Exactly. This bitch was sent away in plain sight.
So Robert, he didn't he wasn't in jail for very long, because he ended up he kept showing up to her book signings. Oh, before that though, he started losing interest in her as she was getting older. Mm-hmm. And there was a period where she didn't, see him in person, and she wanted to go to like a summer camp and be around her normal friends. And so she ended up meeting a boy, and then started, things started clicking in her brain. Like, what is going on? Like, these alien. Oh, even prior to that, the whole alien thing. Mm-hmm. Oh no, it was after, I believe. Because she went to her sister and was like, I gotta tell you about these aliens and all this stuff. She told her the mission where she has to have the kid. Oh, man, why are my timelines?
I want to say that was after the summer camp. I think that was after, because she was like, she goes, I had this planned out. She goes, I got the
experiences she needed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She said she went out and got a gun, that she was going to tell her sister everything, and that she was going to kill her sister and then kill herself. What the fuck? Are you serious? This dude
to prevent her family from being, to prevent her sister from being taken by the aliens or Robert or whoever.
Yeah, it sucks because he did. I mean, I don't want to talk bad about the lady. I really don't, because she went through a lot of shit. She was failed by so many fucking people. None of this is her fault at all. None of this is her fault. Even the way she acted, that was not her fault. Not at all was that her fault. She had no guidance. She had no authority figures to sit there and tell her, no, and we're going to make sure it's a no. It was, okay, go ahead. It's okay. Yeah, we'll see. It'll be fine. It's okay. But that messed her up, because I was watching some of these other interviews, like on Dr. Phil and all these separate interviews. Like, she's had interviews for over 10 years, because a book came out way before this documentary did. I think 2 books came out before this. And she is very needy now. She's very, very needy. Her sister says, every time I have something important going on in my life, Jan has a meltdown in her life and everything's taken from me. She's like, I think she was getting married, or she was having a child or something. And it was like, it's about me right now, because I'm having something very special going on in my life. And then Jan has a meltdown, and everybody has to go over to Jan and pay attention to Jan. Like, this dude fucked this girl up. She's got so many issues right now. Like, even at the summer camp, didn't she freak out and go home from the summer camp?
I think so. I don't remember.
It might have been school. Maybe she went away to school or summer camp or something, but she had a freak out. Like, I can't be here. I need to come home. I can't be around all these boys. I can't be around these men. I can't be around these people. I need to come home. This is right. This isn't right. I can't be here. Like, he fucked this poor woman up. He really did. And fuck, man.
Oh, didn't he? Okay. Richard brought up a good point. Robert started a fire, didn't he? Didn't he what kind of store did he have?
I forgot what kind of store the dad had.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was after the second abduction, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, after the second one, he got a call in the middle of the night and store's on fire. So this guy, I don't know. They let him
trigger Jan. Yeah.
But they did. They let him get away with so much shit. Oh my God. I don't know how people can be so nice. I really don't. I don't know. How do you let somebody keep doing this shit to you and your family over and over again? Oh my God. But this guy barely spent any time in jail over all of this shit. Even stuff he'd done to other.
Yeah. He was roaming around. He would show up as an adult. He would show up to her book signings and threaten her like, you can't publish this book and it's all lies and there were no aliens. I never said any of those things.
Yeah. And she was at a college, I think, and she had a biker gang that was a lot of bikers are like, we will fucking knock the teeth out of a pedophile. We will curb stomp your ass. Like, they're not for, I can't say for all of them, but I know a lot of the ones that I've heard about or had experiences with, they're not for hitting women and children and being abusive and shit.
Yeah, Baka.
They're the first one. Baka, thank you. They were there, and I guess while she was in the middle of this speech or lecture she was giving, he had shown up with a gun in his car, trying to pass out flyers. There's two stories. Obviously, there's two stories. One was that he had run over. Story. Yeah. He had run over one of the bikers because they were there helping her and, being her personal bodyguards because they cared and they were for what her mission was, like, hey, like, fuck these chomos, get your message out. We're here for you. Supposedly he just ran over one. The other story I heard was that, and it's on the opposite side, obviously, is that one recognized him in the car and jumped on the hood of the car and was, I guess, holding on by the windshield wipers or some shit. And he slammed on the brakes and the guy flew off, but he kept going. So, of course, he ran him over in that way. So whatever the truth is, who knows? There's three sides to every story. So his, hers, and the truth. Right. So, but this guy, yeah, no, he kept egging, he kept pushing on. Even as this woman's fucking grown now.
That's right, Shelby.
It's like almost 30 years later, and he's still like going after her. Like, stop saying what you're saying. And no, this never happened. I'm going to defend myself. It's like, if you just would have kept quiet and just not said nothing, you probably could have just went on your merry fucking way.
But yeah, he was eventually arrested, or he was going to be arrested, but he ended up killing himself.
Yeah, chicken shit.
Yeah, coward.
I'm not saying that people who commit suicide are chicken shits. I'm saying him in that instance, because what was going to happen to him is chicken shit. He was like, I'd rather just off myself now, because he knew if he was going to go to prison, he was probably going to spend the rest of his life in prison.
Oh, yeah.
And then on top of that, he's probably going to get attacked and raped and beaten and harassed daily and probably killed. And that was how he was going to have to spend out the rest of his life, not looking after little baby dolls and trying to get them and take their pictures and shit and be a fucking creep. So, see, we got some comments. Oh, we had a flower shop. Shelby says she thinks she had a flower shop, the dad. Richard said at least he's gone now. Yes, thank God, because he can't do shit anymore.
Yeah,
and
he took his heart medication and Kahlua, apparently. He drank all the Kahlua and all of his pills. Kill himself.
What a waste of Kahlua.
I know. He didn't deserve to taste good.
Yes, Gary, the biker did survive. He wasn't killed or anything. Otherwise, he really would have been in prison for that. And then everybody would have been thankful sooner. So, and hello, by the way. He says, hello, awesome people of Girls, Gore, and Gin. Fuck Miguel. Oh, Lord. But yeah, no, he finally did something right in his life and just got rid of himself. So at least he did that much good in the world. Should have done it sooner.
I agree.
Yeah. Shelby, no, I have not seen the R. Kelly series. Have you, Lauren?
No, not yet.
No. I think we kind of already know how that one goes.
Yeah, I've kind of heard a lot about it already.
Yeah, and in a way I was kind of like, where were your mothers? And on top of that, it was your mothers were probably in on it too. Like, oh, my girl's going to go hang out with R. Kelly. Like, yeah, your mothers were probably in on that shit too. So I do and I don't feel sorry because the girls knew what they were getting into. The mothers probably knew what they were getting into. I wouldn't compare it to this story, that's for sure. Well, not completely.
Yeah, I don't think they're comparable, but
no.
Now I'm gonna watch it. Just to see.
Yeah. It is totally crazy. Well, I'm glad there's one less pedophile in the world.
Agreed.
Yeah. You know, that kind of like chapped my head a little bit too, is that the mom had the audacity to write a fucking book in the 90s and start selling it, making money off of it. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I don't either.
But
a little.
Yeah. I would have taken that as a slap in the face.
Yeah. Did Jan get any of that money? Do we know?
I don't know. If it was me, I would have been donating all that money to women and children shelters for, you know, like abuse shelters and programs and whatever else. Yeah, something. But I know that supposedly the mom ended up becoming a social worker of some sort. So, and she's done such a good job placing so many children in these loving, good foster homes, which, how do you know? How do you know you just didn't make their situation worse?
Oh my God, I know, right? Because she missed all of the red flags, every single one.
Yeah. I would not trust this bitch to be putting a child in a foster home or dictating what is right and wrong in another person's home. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? The system failed again.
Fuck.
Oh my God.
Well,
insane. I guess the father passed away a few years ago.
Oh, did he?
Or a year ago? Yeah, I guess he had I want to say he had bone cancer. Bone cancer? I don't know. Supposedly that's a very, very painful, horrible cancer to have. I knew one person that had it, but they were so functional on their medication, you really couldn't tell all that often how much pain they were in and how fragile they were. I don't want to say for sure that's what he had, but I think that's what they said he had was bone cancer. But he did die shortly after the documentary. And I guess he just didn't tell anybody anything really. But you know what? Maybe that's why he confessed. Maybe that's why he said what he said. Because they said, maybe that's why he admitted it. Maybe he's like, I have to confess all my, because he's LDS. Well, I want to assume he's still LDS in some capacity. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I have to confess all my sins to the world before I go, because I know I'm going to go soon. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Very interesting, sad story. Very, very sad story. And I do feel bad for this girl.
Absolutely.
So much. And this guy, I mean, this guy's a fucking piece of work. So fucking glad he's gone. Wish it would have happened sooner.
Yeah, but I mean, I told you you'd be frustrated.
Oh yeah. Like I said, at first I was like, that's like shit we watch all the time. I don't. Why she getting mad? Oh fuck this motherfucker! What'd you just say? I gotta back that up. I think there was a time I had it paused for like 15 minutes, and my boyfriend and I are just like, just going off about it for like 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, I want to see what's next. And I heard there may be a sequel to the documentary as well. I mean, I don't know how much more they can get into the documentary. Maybe it's the aftermath of it. Like, what happened?
Maybe all the shit they left out and are saying in interviews instead of in the documentary.
Yeah, because that, like I said earlier on Dr. Phil, the mom straight sat there and said there was never any lines crossed. There was never a sexual relationship with him. I'm like, the documentary says different from your mouth.
Yeah.
So there are parts where I want to say, I almost feel like some of this is kind of scripted in a way, but I don't want to be that asshole and believe it, because there is crazy ass shit that happens in the world. Crazier shit than this even. So I don't know. They're either lying and trying to make themselves look better, in maybe in some lights or on some shows, or it's a lie, or I don't fucking know. Maybe Dr. Phil cut some shit out or made her say something. I don't fucking know. But it's conflicting on a lot of different levels and different interviews for some things. So
I need to know the truth.
We'll never know the truth. Government made sure of that. Shots.
All right. We are at an hour 5.
Mm-hmm. I think my energy drink has kicked in with my coffee.
Uh-oh.
Trying to get the sugar sweats. Shelly says, it is crazy. You hear the lady side and the aftermath, and it's so sad. And she said, no, completely different, but same genre, if that makes sense. No, I know what you're saying. She also says, I guess as far as the changing in the stories, maybe she started getting hate and changed her story. Once you say it, I think we all kind of learn once you say something, it's kind of already out there, especially something of that magnitude, like to say something like, how do you go back on that? But I get what you're saying. Yeah, she might have been saying, things in different settings just to make herself look better. So she wouldn't get so much hate. I guess her and the dad were getting a lot of emails and messages from people just straight talking crap to him. Like, how could you? You're a piece of shit. And I get it. They're going to get that. They put themselves out there like that. They're going to get it. So, and they, in some sense, they kind of do deserve it. I don't know. This whole thing is just baffling and frustrating.
Yeah. Well, at least they're bringing awareness, and you can watch this documentary and learn from their mistakes. Times are different now, too, so everybody has more, everybody can find things out about people a lot faster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, everything is way, 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 way different now. Way different now. Eventually, we'll have chips in us, and they'll know everywhere we are at all times, even if you don't have your phone. It's going to be great. All right, Miss Lauren. You cool?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. Thanks for joining us this morning, you guys. We really appreciate it. Sorry about yesterday. It was my interwebs yesterday was shit. Spectrum Bill ain't due for a minute, and they're fucking with me. Stop it. But I'm glad we got to do this today. So.
Oh yeah, this was a good one.
Yes. Join us tomorrow night, guys. We're gonna have our normal, our huge on the Facebook Live. And yeah, thank you guys for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. Yeah, because we're bored as fuck. I need human contact. I don't know how to act in the world anymore.
I know, it's weird.
Shit. Yeah, I know. How do I approach you? Do I talk to you? Do I touch you? Do I look away from you? Yeah, we can't contact. It's a threat anymore. If you guys have any suggestions on future topics for us, feel free to send us a message in our messenger, and we'll put it on our list and get to it if we haven't done it already, or maybe we can do a revisiting of an episode or a topic that we've done before.
Yeah, maybe that's a good idea too.
Yeah.
Maybe do a
make sure to like this
episodes because I got some of them.
So it makes it a good show because you never know where it's going to go once we start. This is live.
Oh my god.
Shit. And for those of you who haven't followed us, we have a YouTube channel, Girls, Gore, and Jen. We also have an Instagram. I think we have a Twitter somewhere. I don't know. That's Lauren's department, not mine.
You know what? I'm scared of Twitter because we say some pretty offensive things. And
yeah, Twitter seems nuts. I don't do Twitter.
Dumpster fuego.
Dumpster fuego. I love it. Shit. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much again for joining us. And we will see you tomorrow night. So, all right. So with or without Miguel. Fuck Miguel.
Oh.
Where is Miguel?
Oh yeah, where is Miguel? Miguel! Show yourself.
The fuck is Miguel? We can't end this on our end.
I'm ready. Yeah, where do you guys say bye? All right. Bye.
We can't go anywhere. We're kind of stuck here until you come back.
Nah, I could close you off anytime I want, randomly if I want.
That's true, but not till you come back.
That is also true. All right, guys. Good job. I'll talk to y'all later.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.